Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Gamesline podcast. We are here. It is episode 94 of the Gamesline edition of the show. I'm John. I'm hosting. I'm in charge of this here podcast and website. Thank you so much for joining me. With me this time, I have three others. This is a full house. We only do 4 people per podcast because if we did more, it would be too much, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. If you think otherwise, I bet there's other podcasts that have like 17 people on them. I don't know.
12-hour
that sounds
long
scary.
Podcast.
Yeah, that sounds scary. I don't want to ever do that. Lily, you're here.
Hi, I'm Lily, and I'm here.
Lily, how are you today?
I've been A-okay. I've been eager to do something that is not just working on my book or playing the video games that I will extol to you the virtues of today.
So you're not going to play games. You're not going to write about games. You're not going to write your book that is not about games, but, you know, maybe potentially inspired by them. And say you're going to talk about them. You're going to talk about what's been going on.
Yeah, we're going to discuss gaming.
Wonderful. All right. Well, you will be joined by myself as well as Crystal. Crystal, how are you today?
Hello, I'm doing well. I had to swallow a gulp of water really fast because you called on me.
I'm sorry. I should have.
No, that's not. You literally had no way of knowing that. I'm just relaying a humorous anecdote to the audience.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're properly hydrated, at least. It is sweltering out there. I don't know how hot it is for you out there, but for me, it is. Let me see. It is currently, it says it's 82, but it is raining, so it's very humid right now. It says it feels like 91.
I had the 97 degree weather a few days ago.
Oh no.
It's not good.
Mine's only hit like max 84. I'm not doing too bad.
Mm-hmm. Nikolas, how are you doing over there? How are you doing, and what's the temp?
I am honestly not the best. I just got off of a 3D modeling session that I'm going to go back to when this is done, where I'm making just a bunch of junk to throw around towns in the game I'm making, you know, like barrels, crates, tables, the classics that are always there, even though they aren't ever there in real life, towns and cities. And I just got off making the worst looking giant metal chest known to man. So hopefully I can log back in with, I don't know, sacks of flour or something.
I mean, you know, I feel like that's part of the reason why people use, like, you know, models, you know, like stuff that people have made previously. I know that there's probably some worry that has gotten infested with some AI generated stuff, but I'm sure that if you look for older things, maybe there's some stuff that you would enjoy. But if you like the process, then keep going. You know, I'm not going to tell you what you should do or shouldn't do.
I'm doing stuff because I like the process. If I didn't like the process and I didn't care about the process, I'd probably just be pushing out rock slop if I was that kind of person. But I'm not. I like modeling and drawing and doing work and learning.
Well, there you go.
Also, temperature here is pretty nice. I've got my window open. The air is blowing. It's a nice day. And I'm going to sit inside and talk about RPGs because that's what you do.
That is what you do. Yeah, I had to mow the lawn yesterday. I'm just glad I didn't get bit up by ants again. My neighbor is very kind. While I was doing the mowing, he came out and was like, "Hey, there were some fire ants over here. I put some, you know, some chemicals on that bad boy, and I spread them around a little bit to try to cover your lawn too." And I was like, "That's very nice of you. Thank you." You know, I would rather not perform any kind of awful murder to animals, but also the fire ants have gotten me so bad. They've gotten me so bad.
Haven't they attacked you multiple times at this point?
Multiple times, and each time it has been like drastic. Like, I thought I was going to die the first time it happened, like straight up. I had to go to the doctor, and now I know that I guess I just have an allergic reaction to them that isn't like fatal or life-threatening. It's just pretty scary. It's just like, oh yeah, no, your foot is just going to swell up real big. But yes, hopefully that is less of an issue, especially because I'm, I don't know if I've said it on here, but I will be moving in about a month. Actually, a month directly from today that we're recording on. So I'll be moving into an apartment, so I will no longer need to mow the lawn. Someone will be doing that for me, I guess. I'm a little excited. I'm a little scared. This is the first time I'm going to be living completely on my own, but we're making moves.
Exciting.
That's one way to put it.
You can do gaming. You can do gaming in private now.
I mean, I kind of already did that, but,
In absolute privacy, though.
That's true.
You can say all the swears you want.
I do that already. I say that sometimes. I say
you can
poop and pee.
You can say penis. We have to cut that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, be careful. Watch it. But we've all been gaming this past week or so. There was also a big ol' news event. Would you like to run through the Nintendo Direct before we talk about what we've been playing? Because that's the last bit of quote-unquote Summer Game Fest that we need to cover for the year. We're almost done for the year of the Summer of Games.
Well, let's proceed.
I would like to get it out of the way.
Through the Nintendo zone.
Yeah, we could do that real quick. So, yeah, Nintendo had their big ol' Summer Direct. I thought it was pretty decent. A lot of people were pissed as fuck.
It was big news if you are a Xenoblade fan.
That is correct. I think this was one of those, like, JRPG-centric ones that where if you like JRPGs... I mean, like, relatively, I would say.
I guess, like, Kingdom Hearts 4 is kind of, like, spiritually connected to JRPGs.
Outside of that, it was just the bunch of Xenoblades, the Final Fantasy de-gachifying thing, and I think that was it. I can't remember anything else that looked like an RPG.
Fire Emblem, Deltarune.
Dragon Quest.
For people
Dragon
who
Quest,
like motion,
was that in this one? I thought that was before in other directs.
They had another trailer for it.
For people who like motion controls, there's Switch Sports Resort.
That's true. I think that was the thing that you were most excited about, Crystal. You were popping off about that, which I respect.
I like a motion control.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah. Let's. I'll hop around a bit. We can just touch on things here. Yes, they. I don't want to say re-announced, but it has been quite a while since we've heard anything about Kingdom Hearts 4, and they had a new trailer and confirmed that it will be available at launch on Switch 2. So that game exists. That will be a game that will release apparently.
I do really like the ad copy for Kingdom Hearts 4. Where it tells us that Sora will once again journey to realms where new figures cross his path, which is, I think, how all stories happen.
Sora will go places and meet people.
Can I just say that, like, it's like historically poetic that Kingdom Hearts 4 is kind of trying to return to the themes of Versus 13, and then also seems to be following the same trajectory as Versus 13, where this is like their big re-reveal 4 years after announcement, and the game does not look even close to finished.
Yeah.
Soon there will be a Coleman camping gear crossover.
Yeah, what's in Sora's custom cup of noodles?
You can buy every piece of Sora's outfit for $600 an item.
You joke, but I'm pretty sure they will actually do that. That seems like something they would do.
I'm not even joking. They did that with Final Fantasy XV. You were like, oh well, you can buy Noctis's pants.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, that seems like something that they would want to do again with Sora's fit in this game.
Not a fan of his fit. Like, admittedly, Sora's clothes have always been kind of avant-garde.
Right.
Needs more belts.
Yeah. Because I do think a lot of the product placements in 2010s Final Fantasy has been very corny, yes. But also, it is one of the only series I can think of that, like, cares enough about fashion to do fashion product placements, and Nomura certainly has a very unique sense of fashion for his characters.
I mean, I think we kind of saw that kind of, like, because there's always been, like, this weird cross-medium collaboration in Final Fantasy. You had, like, the Advent Children flip phone. There was, like, was it Lightning that had her own purse line?
Yep.
She was, if I remember correctly, she was just straight up like a, what was it? Was it Gucci? I think that they just had her as a model. Like, they were just like, yes, we have hired Lightning from Final Fantasy XIII as a model.
She was so busy.
Yeah.
She's
like
keeping
that.
a dream, the spirits within dream of a digital actress.
I mean, it was pretty good, don't get me wrong. I thought it was funny, but it was also insane. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is that, yeah, they put her in outfits, and it showed off the outfit, and she looked good in it, and it was like, okay, yeah, like, I can see a future for this, kinda, but now the equivalent of that these days are just like the AI generated influencers instead of something interesting, like, oh, here's this character that was in something, you know, let's kind of incorporate her into continued existence in a way, you know?
I mean, I guess VTubers are kind of that cross-pollination in a way.
Yeah, and I think that's way more interesting. I think that's actually fun, you know?
The thing that makes Lightning such a good fashion model, I guess, or at least a very distinctive one, is that she does actually have a very identifiable character design, whereas I think, you know, a lot of women in games are kind of like standard woman body and face with a different haircut, but Lightning's proportions are like a little bit unusual, and she's like a little bit lanky.
She definitely has like the build of what you would expect for someone who would be a fashion model, so it does make sense, I would say. But yes, the other thing is that they are putting all of the other Kingdom Hearts games on Switch 2. Is it just Switch 2 or is it also Switch? Let me see. I'm trying to see. Okay, yeah, it's just Switch 2. They are delisting the cloud versions, which were the awful streaming versions of Kingdom Hearts that were on Switch 1. They are letting you just buy all of them for $75, which is a pretty good deal, I would say. That's 1.5, 2.5, 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, and 3 alongside the Remind DLC. So it's like basically everything for $75. That will be out on October 8th. And if you for some reason did buy the cloud version, I guess you get a discount to buy this somehow, which I cannot imagine a single person who did that, but I guess if you somehow did. And there is a demo for 3 and Remind up on the eShop now, which I did not know that. I'm looking at this on their little press release. I did not know that existed. I haven't seen anyone like trying that out, but you know, it's there, I guess. I don't know if we want to linger on the weird controversy about this release, or do we not feel like doing that?
I mean, it's gonna be the same topic again. AI art is bad. It's embarrassing that they used it, etc.
Of course, yeah. At the very least, I just think it's crazy how it happened in this specific instance, where it seems like this, like the cover art for this collection, because like there will be a physical release for it. On the Japanese version was perfectly fine, was original art, and then for the non-Japanese version, they did not generate any new images. They seemingly just used like AI and Photoshop or something to move the characters around really sloppily for no reason. It's very weird. Like I guess it was someone at like Square Enix US or something that did this, and everyone got really mad. And I think that they got rid of that cover because I think it was on the eShop. And if you look on the eShop page now, it's the original art that the Japanese version had. So I'm guessing that some shithead at Square Enix US fucked that up and then got yelled at and they fixed it. That's what I'm guessing happened, but it's very stupid. It's very stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Crystal, do you want to talk about Switch Sports Resort? Because that is happening. We're having a new Switch Sports game.
I have to pay for the Joy-Cons too anyway, so I would like a game that uses all the things I'm paying for that no other game uses.
That's right.
I mean, has the Joy-Con like mouse controls come up like significantly at all in any game?
I can't think of one.
You can use it in Metroid Prime 4, which I haven't played that yet because I don't really, maybe when it becomes cheap. You can use that for Pokopia, to like click around and decorate stuff a little easier. There are some SNES mouse games on Switch Online. Like they have Mario and Wario and Nobunaga's Ambition and Mario Paint on there, which is cool. But that's all I can think of off the top of my head. I think there's gonna be some new stuff. I think they said that there's some stuff. There's gonna be a Switch 2 version of Minecraft. I think that's gonna have it. And I don't know, did they say anything about Fire Emblem? Because that actually might be a good way to play Fire Emblem, now that I think about it. I don't know. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah, are there any sports that you're specifically looking forward to, Crystal, that they've announced so far?
On the old Wii Sports Resort, I did always just like the satisfying swing of a tennis or a baseball bat.
How are you feeling about thumb wrestling? Because they did do the thumb wrestling for like 4 minutes, and it did look like Koizumi was yanking Pud on the stream while he was doing it.
I don't quite understand what they were doing there because they're just pressing on the bumper, it seems like.
I suppose. I don't know.
Or is the orientation of it also matter? That wasn't actually clear to me from the presentation because it didn't show his hands, which means you could also do a funny GIF.
Yeah, it was presented kind of poorly, and then everyone was just making jokes about it, and the fact that they put so much time on it without really expressing what was going on was very odd.
I guess I abstractly think it's funny that the Joy-Con has all these features, but no analog triggers.
Yeah.
Which seems like something that would actually be useful for thumb wrestling.
Yeah. It does say that you can do skateboarding with Joy-Con 2 mouse controls if you want in this game.
Oh wait, they did show his hands. I guess I was just looking at his face too much.
I guess so. All right, never mind.
I just feel
I tuned out.
The fantasy of sports. Like when you had like Wii Sports Resort, you had like sword fighting, right?
Yeah, that was a cool one.
But I feel like what is the fantasy of thumb wrestling need to be like I can just reach over and do it with the person I'm doing it with.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
I mean, I would want to maybe see... I would like to be like, okay, let's do real-life thumb wrestling, and then let's do Switch Sports Resort thumb wrestling and see who comes out on top in each. See if there's like a parallel, or, if the person who's good at thumb wrestling in real life is also good at it in Switch Sports Resort. I don't know.
I do think the fact that thumb wrestling is their big new feature shows that maybe they don't actually have very many new ideas for motion controls, but yeah. I don't have a Wiimote. I don't have a Wii. I'm not going to buy that stuff. So this is my best shot.
This is your best chance to do thumb wrestling ever again.
Right, because I could just play Wii Sports Resort, but I don't have the hardware, and buying it would probably cost not that much less than just buying this game.
Yeah. So this was we mentioned a good amount of it before, but yeah, there was a lot of Xenoblade this time. They finally confirmed that we are getting Switch 2 versions of all 3 mainline Xenoblade games, because those were all on Switch 1. The upgrade pack is out for Xenoblade 1 Definitive Edition, and then 2 and 3 are going to have updates later this year. And there will also be physical versions as well. It says that 2 is going to be July 30th, and 3 will be December 3rd. They showed like little bits of what they're adding for the other games, but the stuff that I have seen for Xenoblade 1 is that it has 4K resolution, and it says that it runs at 60 FPS. I've been hearing that it's a little choppy, but they have added voice acting to all of the heart-to-heart scenes. So the game is, I don't know if it's fully voice acted, but it's pretty close to being fully voice acted now, which is kind of crazy. And they also added like a bike to the game that everyone can just ride like a motorcycle around the world. And they also have bike races, so you could just play Xenoblade Kart in this game now, I guess.
I do truly
how do you feel
like
about that?
Needs to be a feature in more games.
I agree.
Like, the power that Bloodborne Kart had over the culture should not be sequestered to one franchise. We used to be a society that would make a kart spin-off of anything. We had Final Fantasy Mario Kart.
We had Jack Combat Racing.
We had Jack Combat Racing. We had all the Crash Combat Racing games.
Yeah. Crash Team Racing is great. But the Xenoblade 2 update, they only talked a little bit about it. They said that there will be a new rare blade. They did not say who, but there's a new rare blade. And when you send a blade on a mercenary mission, which was basically just you would go and be like, oh hey, I have some leftover blades. Go do a mission off screen and get items for me. Now you can choose to directly control them, so you can actually play as all the different blades instead of just, playing as your character and then doing moves alongside them. You can play as all of the blades in the game now, which is pretty neat, I would say. That's actually kind of cool. And there are also apparently, quote, new equipment for Pyra and Mithra, which, sure. And then for Xenoblade 3, they are adding a new hero with a new quest. They are fully voicing all the event scenes, and there is a new wave mode, which basically seems like a roguelike kind of sort of survivors mode thing, where you're like doing like top, like you're the camera's over the top, and you're like going around just killing enemies, and you're like summoning dudes and. I don't know. It's pretty weird, but it looked a little fun. I don't know. I want to try it, but we'll see.
This strikes me as like not so much like a marketing driven decision. That really feels reflective of monolith development culture, where sometimes a programmer can just have fun. Why don't I program a Vampire Survivors into this remaster?
I mean, that's the same with the bike. Like, they were just like, yeah, I guess we're just going to make a bike that you can drive around, and now you have go-kart races in Xenoblade for no reason.
People have joked that Xenoblade 1 feels like an MMO. It's only fitting they should add a mount to it.
Yeah. I also think that it might also be them going like, hey, because each of these are $10. This might be them being like, yeah, let's give them a little bang for their buck at least. If we're going to charge them $10 for better graphics or whatever, let's also give them some extra stuff as well, which, sure.
Right, I forgot they charge for these things. I actually forgot about that.
They shouldn't be. I'm still pissed that, like, because I have, like, Switch Online expansion pass or whatever, because I just have it with my roommate, and we just split it, and it's about the same as me paying for, just the $20 a year base thing, so it's not that big of a deal. But when I was like, oh yeah, no, I should like, I got like the Breath of the Wild update or whatever. It was like, sure, but that's like the only one you get. You just get Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Those are the only two like upgrades that you get for free with that. You don't, and you also don't even get any of the DLC for those games. You just get the upgrades. So like I was like, oh, you know, I would like to, cause I played through Kirby, the new Kirby game on Switch. I don't remember what it's called. Forgotten Land. But I don't want to spend like, it was like $20 or something for the expansion or whatever, like $20-$30, I think. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to spend all that money. Like, I liked that game, but I don't know, $20 for that upgrade, that seems a bit much.
Remind me, did they charge you to transfer Virtual Console ROMs to Wii U? Was there something like that?
If I remember correctly, I think they did, but it was like $1.
Okay. I mean, that still strikes me as like...
Yeah.
You're charging me $1 to transfer ROMs?
Yeah, I mean... Like, if like they did some work on it, if I remember correctly, but still, like $1, it's like, that's a bit much.
I would pay $1 for Xenoblade 4K with Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, I mean, I paid $1 too because I got a physical copy of Trails First, and that was on the Switch, and then the Switch 2 upgrade was a single dollar. So I paid that single dollar for the upgrade because it was $1, and they didn't have a physical copy of it for Switch 2 for whatever reason. It's very weird.
If they start like charging tolls for Pokemon transfers, would you be willing to pay?
I mean, they kind of do.
Oh my god, this is worse than I thought.
Yeah.
They have the Pokemon Home, which you can use for free, but they limit you to a single box. So if you want to transfer stuff, you have to do it one box at a time. And if you want to actually store stuff in there, then that gets full pretty quick. So if you want like a shit ton of boxes, it's like, I think like $10 a year or something like that. But then, yeah, they also announced a new Xenoblade game, which is called Xenoblade Genesis. They didn't really show too much. They showed a little footy, but it seems to be about an elf woman who is going to school, and it is going to be on the Switch 2 exclusively, and it will come out next year. I am excited for a new Xenoblade game. I sure do love Xenoblade Chronicles, and I would like to play Xenoblade Genesis.
John, I need to confess my sins.
Go ahead.
I still have not finished Xenoblade 3.
Is there a specific reason why, or are you just like, I don't care?
It's not even that I don't care. It's not that I don't want to see the end of the story. It's not the mechanics. It's just one of those things where I part of me wants to believe that it's because it's on the Switch. Like, this room with my gaming PC in it is my gaming room, you know? I keep that stuff out of my bedroom. And the Switch is plugged in to a TV in our bedroom. So it just becomes one of those things where I look at it and I go, the gaming vibes aren't here. And I know the obvious answer would be to just bring the Switch into the office. But think about the footprint.
Expand on that. What do you mean by that?
That's one whole gaming device in this room. I don't know if the infrastructure can take it.
The roof is going to come collapsing down if it hears that Chain Attack theme play for the 50th time.
Yeah, I love.
You can't let the Switch in there.
I really love having like a thematically appropriate boss theme get interrupted by the Chain Attack theme again. I really liked this really important thematic boss fight get interrupted by that. It was really good. It sounds like I don't like this game, but it is just really one of those things where... Actually, I think it is John's fault, if we really trace it back.
What the hell? Okay.
So, because here was the thing. Do you want to know what I was playing? Or rather, let me reverse this. I was playing Xenoblade 3. And then you know what John gifted me? Trails in the Sky first chapter.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Look, I really like Xenoblade 3. I do. And that's it. That's all I have to say. But I guess just the last bit of news here is something else that I just found out. Apparently, they are also doing quote-unquote upgrades for... Well, because Xenoblade 3 DLC is built into the game, so they don't need to do anything separate, but they made Xenoblade 2 Torna its own like standalone thing, but they did confirm that is getting a Switch 2 upgrade, but it's going to be free. So that's nice. That one will be free.
Oh,
the other ones will be $10. Yes.
Thank you for your magnanimousness.
My favorite Xenoblade game, Torna.
I mean,
people like it, don't they?
It's good.
A whole lot. It's really good.
I think it does that same thing that happens with every Xenoblade game, where you play it and you just kind of go, man, I wish this was in the base game.
Yeah.
I think that probably actually would be a good starting point because it's a little more compact than the usually quite large Xenoblade games.
Well, it's
so
also
tied to an existing game that it can't really work as a starting point.
I mean, it's a prequel.
Yeah.
But it still is written as if you've played the actual game itself. It's like, yeah, the best starting point for Trails is second chapter. Just go have fun with that.
I don't necessarily think it's that night and day. Like, here is the thing. Even I, as a giant fan of lots of like different kinds of RPGs, I think that there is quite like my editor's mind thinks a lot about those kinds of games, about the parts you could cut out. You're a creature designed to make patterns work. You can connect the dots. If you played Torna first and then played Xenoblade 2, it's not like you would be in the dark. And if anything, it would make you more angry at Xenoblade 2 for all of the unnecessary explaining it does.
Yeah, I agree with Lily, and I think it's one of those things where it's like, you know, sometimes there are benefits to going in order, but I don't think it's like a necessary thing for enjoying a series at all.
I mean, I think a lot of people, and I've talked about this a lot before, a lot of people get fixated on what the real way to engage with a piece of media, especially when it's in like a long-running franchise. I think you should just pick the one that interests you. If you pick the one that looks like good to you, it might inspire you to do the other things, but if you say, I'm going to start Final Fantasy at Final Fantasy I, and you don't care, and it stops you from starting altogether, who cares about what the true experience is? I don't think it exists.
Yeah, it's better to play it imperfectly than to not play it perfectly.
Well, especially when you consider the translation issue.
There's going to be Pokopia DLC. I'm very excited about that.
What specifically are they adding?
So, they are adding in August, as a free update, they are letting you use the move Dive, which will let you go underwater, and you can build houses underwater, which is good, because for a while, you had to just let Pokemon that were underwater Pokemon live on land, and it was kind of fucked up. Like, I have Magikarp, like, flopping around on land in a house that I don't know how Magikarp gets into the house because it has a doorknob, and I don't know how Magikarp is turning a doorknob. But now I can make a house underwater. Well, not now. I can do it in August. In August, I can make a house underwater, and Magikarp can live there, and I won't feel bad.
I mean, does it add, like, any story material, or is it just, like, new building options?
So that is the free update that they're adding in August. I guess alongside this, it says it's also going to be in August, there will be a paid DLC, and they've confirmed there will be 3 sections. One of them, they've only confirmed one of them, which is the Bubbly Basin, which I guess is going to be focused about like underwater areas. And it says that they are adding it's a brand new town with new furniture and outfits and Pokemon. and from what I saw in the trailer, it looks like it is set where Cerulean City used to be. So that looks like they will have Cerulean, and then they confirmed that there will be 2 more expansions after that. One of them at the end of the year, and the last one sometime next year. I'm trying to think what towns are still left. I mean, we haven't hit Cinnabar. I guess they could do Cinnabar. That'd be cool.
I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Haven't done...
Considering this whole thing is a climate disaster game.
Yes, it is. Cinnabar would be really interesting. Okay, you know what? No, we need to move on, or I'm going to start talking about Pokemon lore. I mean, unless you want me to talk about it.
So anyway, Nikolas, what have you been playing?
Okay. Okay. I don't know. So is there anything that you all want to bring up on here that I haven't brought up yet? Because I mean, I could keep jumping around, but is there anything that you all want to specifically mention?
Deltarune
they made
tomorrow.
Big Walk. Big Walk is a friend-type walking simulator, which I think is a good idea. Okay.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. So. Yeah. Big Walk. That's the new game from the Untitled Goose Game people. Which is, you're just walking around doing puzzles, and you can talk to your buds over the microphone and just hang out and do stuff together. That's coming out August 4th. Switch 2, and I think just like pretty much all the consoles. I think it's just out on everything.
This is pretty much what I already do in VR chat, but those maps don't usually get that big. They're not designed for exploration in this way, but I think I like the idea of having like a cousin walk in Big Walk. Just talk and chat.
Sure. And then like Lily said, Deltarune Chapter 5 was confirmed to be out June 24th, which is 10 days from the day that we're recording this. Oh boy. Little scared about what's going to go on in Chapter 5 of Deltarune, but I'm excited.
I do kind of wonder how that game will translate from like an episodic as it currently is to a comprehensive like artistic vision by the end of it, because I think it has done at least a reasonably good job at just avoiding memes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm ready to see. It sounds like they're going to start quote unquote paying things off in this chapter, so I would like to see where that goes from here.
Oh, we can only assume.
We'll see in like a week. Nikolas, was there anything that you wanted to specify?
From the direct, not really. The whole time I was just kind of sitting there going, all right. So there's not really anything I'd want to talk about from it.
Okay. There's a few other things here. We mentioned that Final Fantasy Resonance. They are basically porting Final Fantasy Brave Exvius into becoming a real video game. They're just going to take like the story and the concept and then turning it into a non-gacha game. And they're also giving it the HD 2D treatment as well. So there you go. You can play Final Fantasy Brave Exvius as a normal video game, except I don't know if it'll have Ariana Grande in it this time. You would hope. I hope so. That would be nice. What else? We have Muramasa, the Vanillaware classic, the 2D action RPG, is getting a port to not only Switch and Switch 2, but for the first time, they are finally putting a Vanillaware game on PC. So hopefully that means that everything else will come eventually, like Dragon's Crown and 13 Sentinels and Unicorn Overlord and all that stuff. Because, that was something, people were asking, especially for Unicorn Overlord, people were asking for that pretty heavily. And that just did not happen for whatever reason. Do any of y'all have any attachment to Muramasa? I fucking love Muramasa. I played the hell out of that on my PlayStation Vita.
I think I was originally playing it on the Wii. I think beyond that though, like I I do always like the art style they tend to go with. Like, obviously, it is not what one would describe as realistic in any way, but I do like the general aesthetic of all of those games. I would really like eventually for a 13 Sentinels port.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm really hoping. Really hoping.
Yeah, I'm glad. It almost feels like a little Vanillaware has to port themselves out to stay alive these days, but I want them to stay alive because they do have a very distinct art style that no one else really has.
I mean, there was the joke circulating about how it was a recession indicator.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the last little cool thing that they showed. Kairosoft, the people that made Game Dev Story, are making a One Piece themed cooking management game where, yeah, you play a Sanji and you go around and cook things and run your little restaurant. It's a very cute concept, and yeah, I'm just happy that Kairosoft is out doing their thing, and that will use the Joy-Con 2 mouse controls if you so choose. So there you go. That's another game that uses the mouse.
They're really getting their money's worth out of it.
They're getting their money's worth. Yeah, I mean, there was other stuff shown. You know, they had a new thing for Rhythm Heaven. They showed some more stuff about Splatoon Raiders. They revealed the Donkey Kong Challenge. Did any of you notice or see the Donkey Kong Challenge? No.
What is the Donkey Kong Challenge?
The Donkey Kong Challenge is an event that they are running on Switch 2, apparently, where basically they just drop you into levels in Donkey Kong games, and it's mostly just the old stuff. You know, it'll be like, oh, hey, here's Donkey Kong on NES, here's Donkey Kong Country, and you just have to do a level, basically, and that's it. They give you a little challenge card if you do that. And then there are some more interesting things if you own Bonanza, where they will do kind of the same thing, except some of them are like actually like challenges that are different from things that you'd be able to interact with in the game. Like it'll be like, oh, hey, do the final level without any upgrades. You know, like they strip you of all your upgrades, so you have to run through it and just, you know, do it with your base abilities. Like that's cool. It just kind of seems like they're doing some weird achievement thing without actually doing achievements.
This is actually really cool because it calls to mind what they did with the Satellaview, where there'd be like a featured game broadcasting this week, and there's competition to get the highest score.
It's kind of that. I would more compare it to like NES Remix and that sort of thing. It's kind of like that. Except my one complaint though is that it is for the virtual console, or not virtual console, for the quote unquote Switch Online stuff, it does just let you rewind. So there's not really too much challenge to it if you don't self-impose that. Like I was like sitting there, like I kept like pressing the pause button when I like died, and I would just be like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna rewind. Let's actually restart it. I kept having to like tell myself, not tell myself, quote unquote, but just be like, I know this wants me to just rewind, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna restart. I have to do the whole thing. And it did feel better to actually play through it.
They probably should enforce that if it's like for a challenge. Just disable the rewind.
When you actually die, a menu pops up that says like, do you want to rewind or do you want to restart? And then I would have to press the restart button. But like I would like, you know, like press the button that pauses the emulation, but then I would be like, no, just go to the game over screen so I can restart.
Yeah. I guess for me, it's just, I like the idea of using an online service for some kind of shared events rather than just as a storefront.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the only events to be sales, you know?
Yeah. We are also getting Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave on September 17th. People are real excited about that. And then the last thing that they announced, which is the thing that everyone got pissed off about, which I kind of understand, but I kind of prepared myself because this leaked a while ago, is that they are in fact remaking Ocarina of Time, and it will be out this year. I don't know. I don't really have any I'm not married to Ocarina of Time, but it's a little lame that they're remaking it. But I don't know. I'm just not going to play it. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm surprised that not only do people have opinions about this, but they also have opinions about not having an opinion, which is the same as having an opinion. Yeah,
I mean, that's my opinion, I guess. My opinion is that it's fine, I guess. I don't know.
It's not worthy of heavy commentary.
Yeah.
So let's move on, I guess.
I've never played the original, so I can't have feelings.
I mean, I don't really like Zelda games, so there you go. That's my opinion.
Goodness.
Yeah. All right, but gaming occurred this past week. Oh my goodness. Nikolas, since you didn't have too much to say about the Nintendo Direct, do you want to hit us with what you've been up to lately, gaming-wise?
Sure, though it's only the one. There's a second one, but I don't want to talk about that one because that sucked. I've been playing Etrian Odyssey recently. I was talking with a friend about how it's man, I wish I knew more RPGs that were actually hard and required you to think about anything. Because I don't know, I've just been playing a lot of them recently that have been very easy. And it's I want something tricky. I want something with meat to it that I can think about. And I like Etrian Odyssey because it is that. There is resource management and challenge in its design. And it is very nice in how it encourages the player to do things. Even if you have the auto mapping feature enabled, because the idea is that you have to draw the map of each area yourself in order to remember where everything is. Even if you have the automatic feature for that on, it still is very suboptimal, and it won't indicate stuff like doors or mining points or anything like that. So you're still encouraged to do those parts yourself. So even if you have that feature out, if you want maps that are actually functional and decent, you still have to engage with it. It's nice. That's about. I don't have a whole lot to say on it because it's just a gameplay only game basically. It's just nice to play an RPG where I have to think about party comp and the mechanics, and I can die and game over sometimes. That doesn't happen most of the time.
Sure. Have you played any games in similar to Etrian Odyssey in the past? And how does that hold up?
Labyrinth of Toho, which I really like. I played a while back, but that game is only quality of life features. That is the nicest game probably ever. And on one hand, it is nice that there is basically a sandbox for as versatile and open character customization as possible in a game with that in-depth character customization. But it does also mean that game is pretty easy when you aren't doing one of the boss fights that is designed to annoy you. Just random encounters and stuff. That game really aren't anything, and it doesn't have any of the super intense resource management or decision making that Etrian Odyssey does. So it's very nice to play a version of this genre where you are a lot more focused on grander decisions than just the minute to minute, because the minute to minute in this game is very I feel like I'm getting mixed up in my head. I'm sorry.
You're good. I mean, how do you feel about the FOEs? What's is that something that you've enjoyed?
I wish they were scarier. Because the third one, they just turn into experience and money pinatas, which is really frustrating. That is probably my biggest complaint. They're not scary after the first floor they're on. I just walk into them and kick their shit in instantly, and I think I've died once doing that. But that is my biggest complaint. They are they're too nice in that regard. They should just instantly kill you, I feel.
No, they need to. It needs to be a challenge, but I don't think it should be impossible. I think there should be.
It should be basically impossible when you first go there, because, like, if you go on a new floor and it's full of scary red flashing enemies everywhere, and you can just kill them all on your first go through because you have been playing the game and you understand how the game works, then there's no point. It's just, why did you have this mechanic if this is just so easy? It feels kind of pointless to not make, like, at that point, why not just make them monsters that appear like the others but rarely, because they don't serve as a unique kind of encounter aside from I have to play a little more safe than I would a normal random encounter, because the normal random encounters in that game are hard. Like, poison, they throw poison at you super early on, and poison is super dangerous. Like, they're the little dinky fly enemies on the second floor that hit you with poison are scarier than the FOEs on that floor, just because poison is so much more threatening. It's like they don't have the tool. They're not willing to give the tools to these things to make them scary, because the game is already so generally scary and intense that doing that for the FOEs would just make them instant lose buttons. And I'm fine with them being instant lose buttons, because, again, that's the whole point of, like, the field mechanics and understanding the map. But they don't want to do that. And I wish they were willing to go that extra little bit far, because the rest of the game feels like it is willing to punish you for making bad decisions and not playing smart. So the FOEs being so easy when they could have the potential to just be, here's like a boss that you would encounter in 10 hours. Get screwed, nerd. I think that'd be more fun. But they don't do that. And or, like, give smart solutions for dealing with them, like the binding mechanics or your own status effects or, like, specific party comps if you really want them to be beatable. But they can kind of consistently, you just kick the shit out of them. And if you have a good healer, you don't need to worry about anything. And it's kind of upsetting that they turn into that so quickly.
That is a shame, because I think that I think that RPGs are not at their most, or RPG battles rather, are not at their most engaging when you're constantly pressing buttons. It's when you have to set the controller down and think about, wait, what do I do with this guy?
There is that in the random encounters and stuff, and avoiding FOEs in the map is that level of engaging where you have to actually work out what you're going to do with deal with them in the map. Like, there's a really cool puzzle when you're like reversing back up through the first sanctum about, like, you have to go basically just do the like a Scooby-Doo door hallway chase with one of them to avoid one of them. And that's pretty fun. And it involves figuring out how you're going to space around the thing. But then the punishment for that is like is just an enemy you can hit over and over with stunning and poisoning moves. And it's not scary. It's like, I feel like the pinnacle of, like, how do I put this? I think the ability to create a story out of your own experiences with these sorts of games is strong when they do it, but it's lost on a lot of games. And it's why I appreciate stuff like Xenoblade always having the level 80 monkey that just kills you in the starting area. Because that's like, yeah, that is probably stupid if you want to fight everything and just do things normally. But if you're willing to be like, and then I had to sneak around this cool monkey, and it made this area way more memorable and interesting because there was something that you had to approach from a unique angle. And FOEs are, like, great at that. They can tell stories with that. Like, oh, sometimes there's a wolf pack. Oh, sometimes there's like a bull that's charging at you, and it moves as if it was always in a line. And they could do that, but they so quickly just become more enemies for you to kill that doesn't matter. You can't tell that story in the way that you could if they were actually way more threatening.
Yeah. I totally agree.
It feels like lost potential. And it sucks because that sort of storytelling, it feels like the thing the game wants to encourage with how you're making and naming all these characters and, like, coming up with the paths you want them to go on. It feels you're creating a guild of so many characters that all do their own things. It feels like it wants you to make your own stories and characters and everything out of it, but, like, one of their best tools for doing that mechanically just doesn't work because the game is so, I guess, scared of just making you lose instantly. Which I guess makes sense, but I want to lose instantly. I want a game to be hard. I don't want to be rewarded for just walking into a big red flashing light that says don't go here, and then I punch it in the face 20 times and I get $5,000.
I don't know. I think that having the option for that kind of stuff is good, but also I think if you're just like, well, shit, I hit the wrong thing. Oopsie. I wouldn't want, things to just be completely fucked for you forever, but that's me.
I mean, I would maybe even consider that to be harsh for like a Final Fantasy game, but Etrian Odyssey is supposed to be like a proper dungeon crawler, and that's what they do.
Yeah. Sure. Well, Crystal, is there anything that you want to talk about? You can go ahead.
Has anyone here seen Final Fantasy VII Advent Children?
I have.
Yes.
No, I have not.
Lily, can you describe to me what you remember about that movie?
So have mercy on me. It's
okay,
been a little while.
Yeah.
So I remember Kadaj. I remember his whole thing where he has his, like, geostigma rally in front of the scary tree. I remember everyone is really obsessed with cell phones in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone is constantly shitting on Cloud for not answering the phone, even though his whole situation is constantly blowing up. And I remember the Sephiroth boss fight at the end of it.
Yes, that's true. There is one of those. That's kind of what I went into this movie expecting. I knew that Cloud was going to fight some Sephiroth alternative concept art designs, and I knew that there would be like big jumpy battles, and I knew that Cloud would answer a cell phone that's like from a real cell phone brand. But the first other thing I expected was like, I was always told, wow, the graphics in this movie are so good. Maybe Remake can look like Advent Children. I'm like, even by 2005 standards, this is really not a visually appealing film. The primary color is gray. Everything is very gray. And I understand that's like, gone.
It is a movie that I think because of the grading and the post-processing, it feels like you are finding it covered in dust.
Yeah.
Yes. And like, I think the cutscene graphics are less impressive than anything in 10 or 12. And I understand that like they're making a 100-minute movie here, but also that's the other problem. This movie's way too long for how little story there is. They could have made this like a 30-minute movie with an awesome Sephiroth fight.
I think it is also funny because that movie itself kind of represents like a sequel to Final Fantasy VII, which now exists in a very strange limbo as it has a conversation with the Final Fantasy VII remake itself.
Yeah, that's the beginning of all that business. Because in the remakes, they're doing the jumpy flips like they do in this movie, which is not really a thing in 7 at all. But the final thing that I've never heard anyone talk about this movie is how Christian the themes are, because literally the movie ends with Cloud healing the disease affecting all the children by baptizing them in holy water in the church in the slums. And I was very taken by that, and I tried to investigate if someone had converted or something during the development of this movie. I could not find any evidence of such a thing. But it's a strong presence in the film's narrative.
Huh. Very strange.
Now that you say... I mean, it does also have, like, a fundamental undercurrent of, like, people with geostigma are, like, fundamentally tainted and they need to be cleansed or the planet will kill them.
Yes. As judged by Aerith, who is, like, the human incarnation of the life stream.
Yeah, she's the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And I mean, can I get into like a little bit of spoilers for this movie whose story doesn't matter at all?
Sure.
So Cloud can't even defeat the Sephiroth clones on his own. He has to get help from the Holy Spirit Aerith, including when, after he thinks he's won the fight, he gets killed and then resurrected by Aerith.
Okay. Sounds great. Thank you.
Anything
I'm
to
happy
make the
that
fight
Cloud
scenes
had
at
a
the end
conversion.
longer. Like, I don't remember any narrative events in that movie. I just remember it was like the hour-long fight scene at the end of this hour-and-a-half-long movie. Like, it literally just feels like a giant fight where it's like, what is it, Bahamut for half an hour? With like the 3 Sephiroth-lings and then the Sephiroth at the end. Like, it doesn't feel like a movie. It just feels like they wanted to animate Cloud and Sephiroth fighting a bunch.
There are like 2 minutes in that movie that actually do tease a somewhat interesting story. And I can tell that this is the part that was actually written by Nojima and not the like loosey-goosey fight scenes that the rest of the movie is. It's where Cloud and Tifa are living together. They're sleeping in the same room. They're raising a child together. They adopt a second child. They're kind of trying to make a family, and that Tifa really wants that. The Cloud, he's so depressed that he's been starting to neglect his familial duties, and Tifa thinks, I guess only a real family could make this work. That's just one scene, and I thought more of the movie would be about it, but it never matters again.
Yeah, I don't know. Very weird. Did you want to talk about the gaming that you got up to as well? I mean, this was gaming adjacent, but you can do what you want. I'm not going to stop you.
Lily, were you about to say something?
No.
Okay. I played Final Fantasy XII also. I really like that one. It feels very different from its predecessors, which I like to see. The reason that Final Fantasy interests me is that it is constantly reinventing itself. And they definitely slowed down on that, such as with 10-2. But this one's totally different. It's inspired by the NFL, so it's a game about programming your characters to perform actions in the Gambit system. So there's not a ton of like moment-to-moment decisions being made in battle, although sometimes you will have to do those if your Gambits are not like super duper exceptionally well prepared. It's just about preparing for a very long dungeon, and it is, I think, the most dungeon crawlery single player Final Fantasy since like Final Fantasy III.
Are you playing like the original version or the new release with like the fast forward and stuff?
Because I'm playing the fan translation of the PS2 version of the Zodiac Edition.
I see.
That's the one that basically introduces a job system, whereas in the original game, everyone was working off the same version of a sphere grid type level up system. But the other thing about this game is that it really looks amazing for a PlayStation 2 game. I think the way that they paint lighting onto the faces and hair of the characters is like really smart graphics programming, because it's relatively cheap to do, but it has a very strong effect. And I think that also extends to the environments, where you look at them and they're actually pretty like square and blocky, and the textures are just flat textures. They don't have normal mapping or anything. But because they can make it simple like that, they can also create these big vistas by making the buildings so big because they aren't that detailed.
What are you, or do you think that you playing the PS2 Zodiac Age translation, is that like giving you a very special, different experience that you think that other people won't have? Like what is making you do this other than, damn, that's cool? Because I mean, I think that's valid too, if that's your choice. But
I like to play in 480p with CRT shaders. But I actually do think the remaster looks pretty good. I think that's a totally valid way to play the game.
Okay.
I do think that 12 is a very interesting game, because I think something that I kind of always felt a little sad about with Final Fantasy X, though it is like incredibly like tight linear narrative in the way that it was structured. I always kind of liked the impressionistic puzzle pieces that clicked together for games like Final Fantasy VIII, 9, and 12. Did you like because is this your first time playing through it, or is this a revisitation?
This is my first time playing 12.
Okay, like, so I would assume at this point you've been through Rabanaster.
Yes, I have.
Okay. Like, what at this point is your kind of takeaway? Because you had so much talk on the character models. What do you think specifically of the environmental design in 12?
It's interesting that in the 21st century, Square is very consciously getting away from the European flavor of Final Fantasy, where Final Fantasy X was based on like Pacific Asia, and in Final Fantasy XII, it draws a lot from West Asia and South Asia. But I think it's also interesting that it does it in a way that doesn't resort to like a pastiche of stereotypes in the way that, say, Ocarina of Time does it. It feels like this very unique setting that is easily distinguishable from any other game. I can identify Rabanastra.
Mm-hmm. For sure, yeah. I mean, when I think about I haven't played Final Fantasy XII, but I think about how that game looks, and it stands out for Final Fantasy as well, just in general. Like, I can't think of many other games that look like that.
I mean, I just like an environment that not every area needs to strictly be, like, plot relevant. Like, again, there's an enjoyment to just kind of honing something down until it is completely utilized. But the thing that I kind of just liked about Rabanaster in particular, or like Bajerba or any of these other kind of places in the map, was that there were spaces that kind of just feel like they would logically exist in the city. Like, okay, Rabanaster just has a whole like undercity, and then it has all of these like connecting bridges and like taverns and people milling about. I just kind of really enjoy that city.
Yeah, I was going to mention this, that I don't know if this game actually was inspired by Trails, although the timing makes that a possible thing. But they do the thing where there's a lot of NPCs in these very large towns, and their dialogue is updating constantly. So you could spend a very long time seeing all the dialogue in this game.
I mean, I do also think that, especially with like the older version, they did want you to heavily contemplate the place you were in, just because it takes a very long time to get anywhere in that game.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And it's a game that I look at the map in a lot, because I can only see a little bit of it at a time. And I really like the process of building a mental map in my head as I get to know the city better.
Mm-hmm.
It is also, I think, an interesting experience because of how a lot of its DNA got transferred forward to make stuff like Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah, I will say this actually makes me more interested in getting further in 14 if it's sharing a lot of staff and sensibilities with this.
I mean, I think that 12 paid a very big inspiration, but even just like the minor nuances, like because I know a lot of critique was thrown at 12 for being like MMO-y, especially in a time where Final Fantasy was moving away from like the traditional menu-based combat. Like 14 kind of just directly takes a lot of things that just kind of have origination points, like even just like the transition points between areas being the little dots, and the enmity trackers with these big holographic lines. A lot of that stuff started in 12, and they just took it wholesale.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That, and there's like a whole Raid series inspired by it, but all that aside.
Yeah, I will say that because I'm playing this alongside FF11, I would say it doesn't feel very MMO-y. I think despite the fact that it does have a lot of hunting side quests and like big open areas, it's surprisingly compactly designed, where you make a stop at a town, you stock up for the next long dungeon, you're stuck in that long dungeon for a while, and then you go back to town, and there's cutscenes in between all this. It doesn't feel like I'm killing 5 wolves in a big open world for 10 hours.
I mean, I guess that depends on what your definition of an MMO is and that kind of pastiche.
I mean, what do you think people mean by it?
Well, the thing is, I understand that MMO, in like the pejorative, a lot of people can say that it is kind of fundamentally attached to a grindy element or an element where you are expected to engage in some kind of busy work just to kind of exist in a world. And I think that applies to critique, maybe well-founded or not. I understand why people would say something like that, even if I don't necessarily agree. But I guess what I mean for my own personal opinion about it kind of just relates back to what I was saying about the environmental design. I think 12 feels MMO-y just because of the fact that there is space that exists because people would accumulate there. Like, a lot of MMOs will craft environments that exist for the expectation that someone someday will stand there, even if it is not distinctly a useful or game-oriented activity. I just feel that a lot in 12, especially when you consider the environmental areas and the fact that there are places, specifically to me, which capture that almost a World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV Vista approach, where it wants you to round corners and see a big new set piece. And I think that's kind of what, in my head, makes it feel MMO-y, though a lot of people describe 12 as being MMO-y because of what you described, the aforementioned assumption of grindiness.
Yeah, you're totally right. I hadn't been thinking of it that way before, but I guess at this time, this style of city and field design is mostly found in MMOs, and this is it starting to branch out into single-player games. And you're totally right that the cities feel like you could see other players standing there. Vaughn does not take up that much space relative to how many little corridors and unnecessary bits and bobs there are.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of why I think that, like, there is, like, 2 distinct halves in stuff like MMOs, where there is obviously the mechanical minutia, which I don't think is as represented, but I think there is also an appeal to an MMO as the pastiche.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, thank you for running us through your Final Fantasy adventures that aren't the Final Fantasy adventure.
Which I guess technically isn't even a Final Fantasy game.
It's not, but I just wanted to make that joke. Lily, how about you? What's going on in your neck of the woods?
I think it's very interesting that is the point that we are going to transition from, because I just got done playing the early access portion of Alabaster Dawn.
Okay.
So their prior game, so a whole thing with Alabaster Dawn that kind of brought me to it in the first place was that it is published by Radical Fish Games and developed as well. And the prior game that they had made was, if anyone's familiar with it, Crosscode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Crosscode is a very frustrating game for me, because it is one of those games that I feel is like a hair's breadth from being something I would really, really love. And it just has a lot of things, like the dungeon design, the way it wants to handle like platforming puzzles, just the environmental design in general, I don't feel like is a very well conceived, but so much of it hits that same kind of, as I described. I mean, the whole game is an MMO pastiche. And so I was really happy to play Alabaster Dawn because it is that kind of thing that happens when companies will make their first game, and then it clearly shows that having a second game that builds on all of the ideas of the original is all it kind of took to push it over the boundary into being really, really good.
Mhm.
A big thing with that was a difficulty for something like Crosscode is that it clearly wanted to do like the MMO pastiche. The main character is trapped as a single like class, and so she can only use one weapon. Alabaster Dawn kind of actually broaches like a fun thing with RPGs, which is having more than one combat choice, as well as like it's obviously not doing the same kind of MMO type design. It is doing a way more traditional fantasy story. But I really liked the fact that it kind of steps away from the intrinsic meminess of the trapped in an MMO game to just kind of do what at this point feels like a more back to its roots type fantasy story.
Okay. So, how are you feeling overall? I guess like, do you think that they're gonna nail it, or do you think that because it's being early access, like a story driven game like that, early access, that's got to put a little worry in your heart, I would say.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. It's hard to say how anything is going to bloom over the creative process, especially when, I mean, playing through it, there was not really a ton of placeholder like content in it in terms of like I never really like ran into like the purple cube or like the I don't know the this is clearly subject to be replaced, saved for like conversational windows and whatnot. But I already kind of see the breadth of what they are attempting to do, because my playthrough of the early access material came out to approximately like 7.5 hours. And I think the fundamentals are quite strong. I think that they are being incredibly forward with the fact that they expect this game, I think, to be in early access for like two more years, which is already like, oh dear, that's going to be quite a long time. But
yeah,
I do also think that being able to demonstrate what the core of the game is at this point, unlike something like Crosscode, where I had the kind of issues that I felt building as I played, and I was getting pushed more and more away by how there were these fundamental flaws in the way that things were constructed. This feels a lot more solid, and also there's a lot more breadth to kind of what's happening. When I say this, I don't want to give the wrong idea. This isn't like a Minecraft, but there is like a community building element to this game. Basically in the sense that they want you to like increase the bond levels of these places. It really wants you to be invested in these characters in a way that there wasn't as much connection with something like Crosscode, because they did the very traditional you are an amnesiac protagonist who is also plot abetted mutinous, kind of stops her from conveying herself very well. This, I think, just having fewer gimmicks in some cases just means that you can tell a more satisfying story.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you mention what exactly is the premise of this game?
So essentially, the premise of the game as it exists is that there is like this unspecified, almost alien invasion that happened. But rather than being as sci-fi as that concept would imply, they are kind of viewed more as like a terraforming entity. They aren't necessarily portrayed as sentient. They're kind of like a a Lavos from Chrono Trigger. This is just kind of a thing that they do, at least as far as it's conveyed so far.
Mm-hmm.
And where that would kind of err toward the sci-fi, there is also kind of things that are like gods and magic. And the protagonists of this are called Chosen, but something happened at the point they were supposed to fight these things off, and the gods abandoned them, and now they have to save themselves, basically. So it is a kind of odd combination between vaguely sci-fi concepts and fantasy concepts that I think creates something at least somewhat intriguing, even if it is less maybe experimental than some other games.
Okay. Well, again, I hope that they pull it off. I think that, we do need RPGs in this kind of style for, that aren't JRPGs, that aren't just Chrono Trigger over and over again,
Well, I mean, you've heard me complain about that how many times? And
yeah, exactly.
But I also just think that in that own sense, having a story that it isn't humorless, but also having a story that has a little bit more desire to avoid comedy and memes is appreciated, especially in an environment where so many indie RPGs... I'm not going to blame it on Undertale, but there's so many indie RPGs that feel this kind of unconfidence in their writing, where they feel compelled to make fun of themselves and self-flagellate to disguise the fact that they're not fully confident in their writing. Like, Sea of Stars was that all the time.
Right. I mean, yeah, and anything that's not as frustrating as Sea of Stars is already a good step up, I would say.
Well, I know some people like heavy comedy elements in their stories. I don't think that's wrong, but I also think that, like, constantly kicking the lawn chair's legs out from under your story to point out how stupid it is doesn't make you feel like you're on my side. It makes it feel like you are embarrassed to be telling me this story.
Yeah.
It sounds like what Sea of Stars is doing is maybe a little less elegant than, like, the ambient absurdism of Mother or Love Delit games.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before. There is an NPC in Sea of Stars who literally follows you around and will just talk in JRPG tropes, and they'll be like, wouldn't it be stupid if your mentor betrayed you right now? That'd be crazy.
God. That's so bad.
Yeah, and believe me, she follows you all game. It's not so good.
Is she the one named Captain Cliche, or is that someone else?
That's someone else. That's one of her friends. Yes, one of the NPCs is named Captain Cliche.
Yeah,
I think there's, like, a safety in falling back in those things, because you're going to get the people who just love to hear, like, a reference or, like, a trope that they're familiar with.
I mean, I think it's easy to fall back on tropes. I think it's even easier to, like, appeal to this urge to, like, lean to the audience and go, hey, don't worry, I think this is stupid too. And it's like, well, your audience is here because those things are in your story. Well, now you're just calling them stupid.
I guess you would know more than me, but, like, does it have bite to it, or is it, like, playful self-poking?
I don't think that there is this, like, sense of anger or, like, projection outside of the medium. At least I hope not, with how much it steals its ideas for the medium it claims to like. But it feels less like self-poke. Okay. This might be an example that no one but like, I'm trying to compare the analog.
Yeah.
When a game like something like Borderlands, right, makes a joke about how, I'm gonna send you on a quest to collect, like, 80 things. It'll be really boring. And then it claims to have that self-awareness and then forces you to do it anyway.
Yeah.
That's not being subversive, that's just you reminding me that I'm pissed off by this. Like, a game saying, you're never going to believe this. This next level is going to take you through a sewer. And it's like, you made the level, though. You didn't have to put me in a sewer.
Yeah, I think maybe like 1 or 2 of those can work in a game. You can't build a whole game around that.
And it's why, by comparison, I just like a game that can tell me a story without, like, kicking at its own, like, background to an extent where, like, obviously when people live in a fantasy world, people, like that stuff is mundane to them. And people aren't self-serious all the time, and people want to talk about, like, how Final Fantasy is, like, this really, I don't know, emotional and soap opera-esque series, but those games are also really goofy.
Yeah.
But they're not goofy in the way where they're leaning to the audience and telling you that they think that that's stupid. That is where my objection comes from.
They can be, you know, a little self-playful sometimes. They can be a little... sometimes they will drop the idea of verisimilitude and be a little playfully self-aware. But that's done very sparingly, and it's done very elegantly, and it's done alongside a more serious story.
Mm-hmm. And so it's weird, because it feels like I am complimenting the flavor of vanilla. But
hey, vanilla's good. I don't know.
But that's exactly it. It doesn't feel the need to be embarrassed that it's vanilla.
Sometimes it's just like, oh yeah, this is good. It's simple and it's, you know, by the numbers, but sometimes those numbers were made for a reason.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I know some people really, really love the Dragon Quest series. I could never get into them because of how goofy and unserious they are. If anything, you know what? This is my flavor of vanilla.
Tasty.
It is tasty, and you can put chocolate syrup on it without feeling any guilt.
That's right. You can do that. Do you want to continue, or do you want to pass it to me? How you feeling?
Tell us about Resident Evil, John.
I'm still having this weird problem where I keep just wanting to play stuff that I've already played. I don't know. I think it might have something to do with me moving. That's what people keep thinking. It's like I'm like subconsciously stressed about it, so I'm just like I don't want to think too hard right now. So I'm just playing things that I've already played for the most part. So
I think also sometimes, like, if the last time you played the game, if you've done like a lot of personal development since then, it can sometimes be nice to like reevaluate it based on your new values.
Sure. So I did replay original Resident Evil 4 semi-recently. And so I went, all right, I'm going to play the remake now too. And damn, I am glad that I returned to this pretty recently after playing the original, because it solidified how much I love the original and how tightly controlling that game is and how like perfect the setup is, like just the controls and the level design and everything about the game is so perfect. But playing the remake here, I'm also enjoying it a lot too. It's a compliment. It is a parallel experience, not parallel, maybe just it's like an alternative fun little extra experience that you can have that I think is well worth it as well. There's a lot of things that I think are worse, but there's a lot of things that I think are better. Like I just finished the part where you play as Ashley in the castle. That is way better in the remake. That is an actual like fun run through where you're, you know, having to dodge all the Plagas knights that are trying to slice you up with swords, and, you know, you're doing more like puzzly stuff here and there. That's way more fun than what it was in the original. And I mean, oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask, like, how I played the 2 and 3 remake. How different is this from those?
It's not incredibly different. Like, it plays pretty similarly to the 2 and 3 remakes. They do have a pretty big parrying element in this one. It's been a hot minute since I've played 2 and 3 remake, but in this one, it's, you're doing a lot of you can parry a lot of stuff by pressing L1 with your knife, which is pretty fun. Sometimes it's a little like, all right, whatever, but I do love being able to like hit a crossbow bolt out of the sky that's getting shot at me with my knife. And I mean, you can still do that with a gunshot or a regular knife swing, but it's also cool to just be able to do that without having to worry about, I don't like aiming, having to aim exactly, or to, maybe if you're in the middle of another animation, it's like, no, I can just do this even because I have the wherewithal to press the button.
Because I think the moment that was so exciting in the late 2010s for Resident Evil is that you had these like two fresh feeling gameplay styles existing simultaneously in the series, which is a pretty rare thing. But now they've made like a few of each of those styles, and even though I did actually quite like 2 and 3, I think that makes the prospect of playing this less attractive.
Well, again, I still think that it's worth like running through just because it is this fun little like retelling, re-experience of it, like putting it through this different filter, as it were. Because there's a lot of stuff that's different that isn't just gameplay wise. Like I like the thing with like 2 and 3 is that it's pretty 1-to-1 story wise, I would say, for the most part. I know that they like cut the clock tower and all that from 3, but I what I really appreciate for the 4 remake is how they have changed a lot of the characters, like not just the playable characters, but they make the villains, quote unquote, a lot more, a little bit more in depth. Like you find notes and the like from some of the characters, like Menendez, the village chief. You feel really bad for him because you find some notes that he wrote where he was put in charge of the village, and he was a lot younger and inexperienced and didn't really know exactly what he was doing. And he cared for the villagers and he wanted, what's best, but there's just a bunch of like journal entries that are like, our crops are failing. We had to slaughter some cows that we didn't want to. Like we're struggling. And then Sadler comes in and promises to help them, and there's just a journal entry that's like they've lined us up to inject us with something that says that will help us survive. I don't know what's going on, and it's like, well, yeah, there you go. Like that's that. Like it's really sad. It's a layer of humanity that was not there whatsoever in the original, and then on the other hand, there's a part where you're in the castle with Salazar, and there's a journal talking about the Salazar like bloodline, and you get to the part where it gets to Ramon, like, and it just says like, just straight up like, damn, I wish that he died when he had that illness. Like, just he's a shithead and we hate him and we wish he died. That's really funny. And yeah, I like that quite a bit. Like they made Ashley an actual character in this game. Like she's really, really fun in this. I like her a lot in this, especially compared to the original. And I don't know. Like I think that there's a lot of good there, but like I do think that the looseness of the combat can be a little frustrating at times. Because when you think about RE2 and RE3, the remakes, those games are, you have that like a little bit of a like weightiness to your movement at times, but I think that's offset by how tight the corridors can be, but the areas in 4 are a lot bigger, and so there's a lot of times where, like, you think about original Resident Evil 4 and how you move in that game, how you are walking and moving and doing all that stuff. It's very deliberate. It is very specific, and they change things a little bit for the remake, but overall you're still interacting with those same rooms that you went through in the original, and I would say that some of it is like it can feel a little awkward to get through when you're like able to move while shooting, and like turning around takes a second and all that. It doesn't feel as deliberate, but I still like it and I still enjoy playing it. And right now I'm doing a run where I am just using the hand cannon, which is the infinite ammo magnum that is very hard to aim, and whenever I get into combat, it's pretty easy to get through it, but then there's parts where it's like, hey, we expect you to have a sniper rifle here. And it's pretty funny. I still do it. It sucks ass, but I still do it. I don't think I'm gonna do it, but I do remember there was a speed run or challenge run of original Resident Evil 4 where someone played through it with just the infinite rocket launcher, and that was a very funny run. My favorite part of that is there's a part where Ashley is like, there's like metal like bolt things like holding her up in the middle of a room, like she's imprisoned. And you're supposed to like shoot them with a sniper rifle to break them, but because they're just using the rocket launcher, they have to literally like aim the rocket in such a way that the explosion only hits that and doesn't hit her, because obviously if it hits her, it would just kill her. So they're like playing with the actual rules of the game and being like, okay, here's the hitbox for this little like, like the metal thing holding her up, and then here's her hitbox, and then here's the explosion hitbox, and it's like, that's really funny, but also I can't imagine doing that. That sounds like a nightmare. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm still futzing around with it. I want to like unlock all the goofy ass weapons and all that, because that's really fun. Like when I beat RE4 original, and then there's also like, if you beat Separate Ways and all that, you get like the Chicago typewriter. So I just brought that through. Like, I replayed RE4 original. I replayed Separate Ways, and I got like the ending that lets you get the typewriter. And then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna run through the game again, but with the infinite ammo machine gun, because it's just so fun to just run around and just mow everyone down. Like it's dumb, but it's fun. Like I'm having a good time just playing my goofy ass video game. I love Resident Evil 4 in all ways that it exists.
Nikolas, do you like Resident Evil?
I haven't played any of the games. One of my friends recommended me 4 forever ago, and it's been stuck at the bottom of list of games I need to play, with stuff like Spyro Reignited.
I mean, I do still stand by the very popular claim that original Resident Evil 4 is one of the best games ever made. It absolutely is. Like, again, it does have its issues, but God, the way that game is designed, it's unrivaled. It is so precise and incredible game. Lily, you went into a grab bag of old games. Tell us how that is. What have you been playing on PS2?
So, I didn't own a PS2. The only time I got to experience PS2 games was playing them at our grandmother's house. Mm-hmm. So, as of late, I have been engaging with a thought experiment. One that will produce an article, so I won't go into the thought experiment, but the games themselves have been really interesting to me, especially, like, as we likened to the conversation before with, like, Final Fantasy XII. It's really funny because I know a lot of people throw around the phrase "looks like a PS2 game" as an insult. I'm sorry, that is a heartless sentiment to me.
It's incorrect and bad, and fuck them.
I just enjoy looking at all of these games, and the one that surprised me the most, absolutely surprised me the most, that I played the most was Bloodrayne.
Okay.
And it's one of those things where there is obviously a frictiveness. Like, using the dual analog sticks as your primary medium for control kind of started being everywhere with that generation.
It was when I think it became the, like, standard, as it were. Like, it was expected of you at that point, yeah.
Like, some PS1 games have it, but the point where it exploded in its everywhereness was really on the PS2. And playing this game, which almost kind of refuses that, where you are still doing the hold left to rotate the protagonist, and is like simultaneously trying to be Max Payne Devil May Cry with a goth vampire aesthetic. As I said, did not seem like the kind of game I would stick with, because again, I've mentioned before that I really like very well considered control schemes and things like that, but I was just kind of mystified by it. And like, yeah, there's some stinky teenage boyisms to this game. I won't deny that. The fact that you're playing a vampire character with the big bazongas who moans every time she drinks blood. There's some stinkiness to this game. But as much as this makes me sound like a serial killer, I feel like there's a lost art to just making things that stay. And so much of our video technology goes into creating worlds of greater and greater fidelity. I like a world that maintains a sense of permanence.
Yeah.
When you kill someone in Bloodrayne, provided you don't alter the world state, because again, it is still a PS2 and it does have to cache memory eventually, the bloodstains just stay there indefinitely. All the corpse pieces littered around. And again, I am aware of how this sounds. It really was a heightening element for me. And it could have been anything, ostensibly. It didn't need to be pieces of dead bodies. But I think there is a thing that is lost sometimes where we consider improving fidelity at the sake of abandoning verisimilitude.
Yeah.
Because I have played modern AAA game releases where I will shoot bullet holes into walls and they will disappear before the magazine is empty. And I think the assumption is the default that most people won't notice. They're sprinting ahead.
Yeah.
But I think that behavior is backwards. People sprint ahead almost because they realize the world behind them doesn't matter. And I think having a world which, even if it is level-based, even if it is tightly linear, even if it is a deeply stupid game, having a game that has enough spirit to it to feel like it is living beyond you, not in the open world sense, but just in the parts that stay, I think there's something beautiful to that.
It is.
And also a hot vampire who moans when she bites you is also a pretty good thing objectively, so, there's that too.
Have you played any of those more recent Bloodrayne games? Because they started to do, side-scrollers, and those seem to be the ones that people are like, oh, these are, really good games. I don't know.
I have no connection to the franchise. Funnily enough, I know some of the things about that dev studio, like where Bloodrayne emerged out of. Which was this somewhat old, adventure horror game called Nocturne. But this was my first one of these that I played, and I think it was kind of odd because lest I spoil what my premise is.
Okay.
I was just kind of happy to play something that I vibed with in terms of just, yeah, this looks like something that Lily would play.
Sure.
And that applies for all the other games that I picked from my grab bag. I did the proverbial equivalent of being like a little kid on a Saturday and playing every game for 20 minutes, popping the disc out, and then playing something else. Which is how I got to like Shadow Hearts, Evergrace, Mercenaries, Dark Cloud 2.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm not going to descend into the old woman and just be like, man, we used to make video games. But I definitely think that there is like this thing where like with stuff like Shadow Hearts, with stuff like Evergrace, with all of these kinds of games, I'm just kind of happy that there were rough edges before we buffed them out.
Yeah. I mean, regardless of a statement of quality of these games, it's true that we used to make video games in the sense that a studio could make a lot of these, and therefore they could experiment a bit.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, Evergrace is FromSoft before they became the Dark Souls factory. Back before every one of their games was expected to play the exact same way or people were going to have tantrums.
Yeah.
And, like, having something like Evergrace, even just the little bit of verisimilitude in Evergrace where you walk into the shop, okay? So, in most RPGs, you walk into the shop, you talk to the shopkeeper goes hello, and then they open a menu, and then you don't consider them as a person anymore.
Yep.
In Evergrace, you walk around the store and you click on the things that you want to look at, and the guy working there tells you about them. And it's
That's
such a
pretty good.
little thing, but there's spirit behind it. And I was thinking a little bit about how stifling it can be at times when your only inspiration in a medium is the medium itself. We, at this point, have had video games for long enough that a lot of people who make games are almost solely inspired by games. Like, stuff like JRPGs, you'll have people go, yeah, I liked Xenogears and I liked Chrono Trigger, and they're like, well, that's all it takes. Well, it's like, at that point, isn't that just kind of circuitously self-referential? We are making games about games we have already played.
Yeah.
And so when we have this assumption about how a game should be designed, you run into the situations that Rose was talking about in her newest article, where it was like, rather than approaching this from the perspective of how you would want it to be designed, you think about it, about how it should be designed based on what has come before, and then you just do that. So I appreciated playing these games, like warts and all, entirely because I just kind of enjoyed the experience of playing something that hadn't been honed down and genericized.
FromSoftware released 4 games in the launch window of the PS2, and they're all totally different games.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it a beautiful time?
Yes.
Also, okay, the Evergrace soundtrack is maybe one of the best video game soundtracks. I say that completely without pretension. I love that soundtrack so much. And it is almost entirely because it is made by a person who does not have a traditional background in music, and he just makes stuff.
Sure.
Can you suggest a track to edit in here?
The shop theme, the Palma Market, is a really, really good one because it is like an instrumental attack where it has like 3 loops overlaid on top of each other at max BPM as you visit the store. And it really does feel like the musical equivalent of the person behind the counter shouting like, hello, welcome to the store, before you're mentally prepared to be acknowledged, and it startles you a little bit every time.
That's pretty good.
It's wild. I respect it.
But yeah, like, I love the PS2. As I said, I have played many of the games that have migrated from it. Like, I've played Okami. Like, that's at this point been on PC for a long time.
Mhm.
But it's weird playing some of these games where, like, they were concepts that got left behind.
Grazing ROMs is so fun.
It's really fun. It's so good. Are you gonna hook yourself up to a retro achievements page?
No, John.
Don't do it. Retro achievements has taken my friends to places they wouldn't even go with a gun.
You saw what I posted the other day, did you not?
I did not.
Yeah.
No.
Where I was talking about the Sopranos, the video game, where the first achievement was enter the bada bing for the first time.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's somewhere you would go in The Sopranos. You go to the Bing.
98% of gamers have entered the bada bing.
Yeah, because that's the strip club that they own. You go to the Bing. That's where they talk and start to come up with schemes.
You want to know something, John?
Yo.
If you ever want to guess how under a rock I am as a person when it comes to engaging with media that doesn't immediately excite me, I didn't even know The Sopranos was a series about crimes until last year.
You didn't know that? I mean, like, I would be, I understand if you're just like, yeah, I don't know too much about it, but like, yeah, it's the mob show. It's the mob show. I don't know
that. I was not connected to it. The only things I saw of it were screen caps of him at the therapist, or him edited to look like Frankenstein.
So you just thought it was a show about a guy going to therapy?
You can make shows about anything, John.
I'm not saying like that's absurd. I just think that's it's funny. It's a funny concept, and I mean, it kind of is that though too.
I mean, you could do the same thing. You could quiz me about Game of Thrones. I don't know a damn thing about Game of Thrones.
Do you know what genre it is?
I know it's fantasy.
Okay.
I mean, oh God, what was it? I think it was like Wuthering Heights or something, where there was like a review where it was just like this whole thing.
Pride and Prejudice. I already know what you're going to say. Pride and Prejudice,
yeah, where it's just, this is just people going into a room and talking, like that's all it is. Like,
the story is just people going to each other's houses.
Yeah. Which, I mean, yeah, like, you could say that about a lot of stuff. Like, you could probably just say about The Sopranos, like, it's like, this is just about Italians going around and going to therapy and shooting each other. Like, yeah, that's the show, but, there's more to it, I guess.
So-called real games are also about people going to rooms. It just takes a lot longer to get there, and you have obstacles in the way.
Exactly, yeah.
Menus.
But the things that people like is when they get to those rooms and they start talking in a cutscene.
Yeah.
Just like The Sopranos.
Exactly, much like the 98% of gamers that have been to the Bing, they go there to go talk to somebody.
I'm learning so much about media.
Yeah, we're all learning together. Are there any other games from your grab bag that you would like to discuss?
It was really uncomfortable to play Mercenaries. Especially in the era that we are currently in, where they were talking about like the North, like all of the shit where it was just like, oh yeah, you just have a mercenary get in there, and the ambiguity of all of this, and then they're just like flashing real footage of like the Korean War and shit on the screen, and I'm just like, this game is not going to be nuanced in the slightest.
Hell no.
No.
Was it fun to blow stuff up though?
You want to know something? Like, I know Rose frequently talks about how Breath of the Wild being like a terrible game, etc., etc. I played this game and I just kind of felt a pall over my soul a little bit.
Sure.
Like, when people talk about the open world with nothing in it, this game map felt like I was a germ driving over the ridges of someone's, like, palm wrinkles. Like, this is a world where it feels like there's nothing in it. And then randomly someone will yell at you in Russian or, a grab bag of different languages that are considered political hot zones, and then they'll shoot at you, and then you shoot back, and then you get back in the car, and then the car blows up and you're fine, and then you blow up more cars.
Yeah, that game definitely feels like that early era where it was like, yeah, we want to have a bunch of destroyable stuff, and that's kind of it. That's cool.
The sales pitch was, what if GTA, but in a war zone?
Yeah.
And I also feel like, for me, at least, I'm sure someone finds some kind of fantasy in this. I don't fantasize about existing in, like, the most exploded places on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of talking out of my ass here, but I would think that maybe at this point, that kind of game would have been popular because the thought process would have been that old, there's bad people threatening the world over there in those desert areas across the world. I wish I could go over there and start fucking up those bad guys because they hate us for just hanging out and being us. And that was just like a prevalent thought process over here.
One of the first things that happens, John, it is actually very funny you say that. One of the first things that happens is like you interact with an American like army general. And he's like, maybe a mercenary can get some things done around here without all this damn red tape so we can save North Korea.
Yeah.
It's
one of those things where it's like, the reason that like destruction and physicsy stuff was so prevalent in 2000s games is because it was a new feature that was genuinely only enabled by more powerful processors. So people wanted to play with their new toy because it did more than worse lighting. But then, like, how do you theme a destruction type game? Probably some like military war stuff, and also we're not going to think that hard about it, and also we're just gonna, repeat the stuff we see in movies.
Yeah, I think that like today that we would not have a game like that. Absolutely not. But I think
we would.
Yeah, we absolutely do. It's just because of the now increasing like information network that cloaks all of reality, it is even more bald-faced in its propaganda. Like,
sure,
this game didn't change. It is the world that changed, and the relationship with information where we can look at something like this and go, ugh.
Yeah,
right.
It's like, propaganda doesn't have to be smart. It also works when it's really dumb and thoughtless, because all it has to do is like plant the inkling in your mind that North Korea should be considered an enemy.
I mean, it's that, and it also operates under the assumption that most people engage with new information in good faith and go, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. Do you also want to talk about Dark Cloud, or are you good?
No, I mean, I think I basically covered, like, save for that one exception. I did really enjoy that experience. And again, even then, I've shit talked, but I don't think it was a valueless experience. I think it cuts both ways, Mm-hmm. It is easy to say, the same way it is to say with any old generation of art, that stuff simply used to be better. But I think, it is good to find old things that suck as much as it is to find new things that suck and new things that are good.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Sometimes you want to go back and check some stuff out. I respect it.
But I mean, hey, you were yourself saying that, like, you were revisiting stuff you care about.
Mm-hmm.
I think
that's true.
People should do the same with older consoles instead of just saying they should port this to Unreal Engine 5 already.
True. Let's see here. The others, so the rest of the stuff that I've been playing, I played a little bit more Marathon. I played some with you and Rose. That was fun.
Did you have any other thoughts in the aftermath?
Not specifically. I did enjoy playing it with other people, but I was also just kind of like, having other people there did kind of make me feel like I'm just kind of here. But also at the same time, it was like, oh, I'm not immediately screwed if I run into another person at this point. Like it's whatever. It's whatever. I may pick that game up though. I did enjoy what I played. I may actually purchase that game to own. But then I have been playing some of that Warhammer 40k Boltgun game, which is that like boomer shooter Warhammer thing where you're like a space marine just going around shooting a whole bunch. That one's pretty fun. I do like that there is a button that you press that just is like just a taunt button basically. So you just press the Y button and the space marine just starts going like, the Emperor is gonna kick your ass. And it's like, all right, man, that's kind of funny. And then I tried a demo because I saw some folks talking about it on Blue Sky. And so I was like, I guess I'll try it. Parasite Mutant, which is basically just a Parasite Eve pastiche, and it was that. It was Parasite Eve.
A lot of jiggle physics on display in that game.
I didn't really notice that. I mean, I believe you, but I didn't see that. I don't know. That game was really dark. Maybe I had it too dark. I couldn't see the knockers.
See any of it.
I couldn't see the knockers. I must have set it to too low brightness, so I could not see the jiggle physics. I'm very sad that I missed that, I guess.
John gaming sentences. I could not see the knockers for the darkness.
Yeah. Very sad that happened to me. But
what did you think, though?
I don't know. It was Parasite Eve, but a lot less interesting because it didn't have any of the personality of Parasite Eve. That's kind of it. It made me sit there and go, damn, I can't wait for 45 Parabellum when that comes out. Because that's going to be Parasite Eve, but with a personality,
More games should have personalities at the end of the day, but it seems more difficult than it would seem.
Yeah, exactly. Like, again, I'm not like... It's kind of whatever because, I get that, people are inspired. People want to do those, like do their little spiritual successor bit.
I mean, the thing with sequels is that they should also have new ideas.
That exactly, yeah. But and also, well, the thing is too is that like, yeah, there's obviously times where you are inspired by something. And then you have new ideas and you take those forward with you and then you do new cool things, which is what they are seemingly doing with 45 Parabellum Bloodhound, where it's like, yeah, hey, we have the gameplay and kind of look of Parasite Eve, but it's not just Parasite Eve. And then there's this game that's like, it's got the fucking word parasite in the name. Like, come on, dog. It's a lot more boring comparatively, but I don't know. I mean, it was okay. It didn't knock my socks off. It didn't piss me off. It just exists. It was fine. But that's kind of all the gaming I've been doing. Lily, wrap it up for us. What's your last thing here?
Oh, so this will be a quick one, but I recently picked up Sekitori. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced. I think it's just Sekitori. I don't know why I said it that way. But Sekitori, once again, shows the dangers to my brain that are score attack games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is, in a lot of ways, kind of like... Is it Geometry Wars that everyone was addicted to? It is that, but even more of it.
I was really excited browsing through these Steam screenshots until I got to the pick 3 screen.
It is not as incongruous as you would think.
Okay.
And for the most part, unlike many games, it just allows you to turn that off.
Good.
Okay.
Geometry Wars is like a perfect game without that stuff.
Yeah, you can just turn it off. You can do the classic mode. You can do the boss rush. I was having a lot of fun with it, and it did turn into definitely one of those games where I had the experience of just looking at the clock and realizing it was a different day than I started playing on. But you know this about me. You know my cyber grind sins and various other speedrunning games. I enjoyed it. Well worth the $12 for the Steam Bullet Hell Fest. As well as Hellsinker. I still need to play it.
Sure. What would you recommend? How would you recommend this game to people? I guess you said it was like Geometry Wars, but how else would you describe it? I guess.
I think in a major component, like it kind of reminds me a lot of how something like Tetris Effect will take the simple premise of like the twin stick or well, this is a twin stick shooter, but it'll take the simple premise of something like Tetris and augment it with something as simple as just visual effects and particles and things like that. And at its core, it is still just like a twin stick shooter with a constantly changing arena and a self-modulating upgrade system. I think that in its own way, it kind of just harkens back to the kinds of games that you can just describe in a sentence or two. And that's enjoyable. It is pure in that sense.
I always like the way the Geometry Wars bomb warped the screen.
So you don't have a bomb in this one, it's like a dash.
Okay.
So it is used less like a screen clear and more like a positioning tool that deletes enemies around where you arrive.
That's pretty cool.
So it does want you to be way more mobile rather than just hitting the button that gets rid of everything.
No, I mean like the gravity, the visual gravity effect of a big explosion.
Oh yeah, I mean this has that also.
Awesome.
It does a lot of like the things that happen in the foreground distort the background. And it also kind of it is weird because it does a thing where when you beat bosses, in order to signal the stage transition, it puts like the whole screen on a Dutch angle.
Oh.
I can't say that I will play it for double checking 822 hours like I have with Ultra Kill, but it will be just as deleterious to my health. And that's a promise.
I think if someone is capable of engaging with these at healthy quantities, I think one of the best arguments for buying these is that you can just always come back to it. It'll be good for like 1 or 2 sessions a year later.
Yeah, I mean, that is ultimately like the purity of things like, I don't know, like Pac-Man. Pac-Man doesn't need to have a content pass to be just as enjoyable as it was decades later.
All right. Well, thank you so much for running everything by us and all that. It's been a very long episode. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little tired. But let's wrap this up here. We have a question. If you want to send in a question, you can go to our Discord server, which is if you type in thegamezone.zone, you'll be brought there. And there's a thread there that you can post your questions in. You could also reply to us on Blue Sky if you so choose. You have options. You have the ability to give us your questions. Like this one right here. Gue asks, in your opinion, which video game has the most deceptive box art? Interpret deception however you wish.
Lily, you've been looking at box art.
So this one This one is like a hybrid affront to me. Like, it would be easy to just, like, say, like, phalanx and call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I really hate the experience pitched to you by the PS1 Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Really? Please elaborate.
So, the cover that they used is just like a photo render of an ordinary ass castle. It's not even the castle in the game.
It's just a castle, yeah.
And it's like, you didn't use the beautiful art by Ayami Kojima.
That
You
incredible,
scrubbed it off.
iconic art, yeah.
It's like, look at this.
Yeah.
You just stare at this art, and it doesn't tell you that this is going to be like an incredibly important game to the Metroidvania genre. It tells you you're going to ride the lightning castle.
So
yeah.
You're saying this is sort of deceptive in a good way. The game's actually more interesting than this cover implies.
Yes. Like, I mean, again, you could really highlight any of, like, the old generation box arts where the fidelity of the box art was much greater than anything on, like, I don't know, the Atari 2600 could render. In that sense, basically everything on that entire, console was deceptive. But I think it is also funny because it is exactly that experience of those kind of older games that has been lost now, because you can just kind of slap just a render from your game on the front cover of the box. So you don't get the same experience of paying an artist $20 to draw something in 2 days.
But also with the Atari, the box art did kind of serve a gameplay purpose in the sense that it suggested the imagery you would imagine in your mind while looking at these very simple graphics.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's the case. I mean, hell, that's the appeal of having a novel with an illustration on the cover.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Don't judge a book by its cover, but
I mean, you should. They picked it on purpose.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. You should look at that cover and try to figure something out,
Unless it's like AI generated or some shit.
I mean, I will judge that book by its cover because I'll be like, no.
Or just like the I think it was a conversation I had in private, but the compulsion that many fantasy books have to just put a photo of a sword on the cover.
Well, swords are cool.
I mean, this book probably got at least one of them in it.
There's gotta be at least one. My answer for the most deceptive box art is Deception 4, because that's the Deception game that has the highest number on it. Thank you.
Man! You stole my joke. I was going to say Mortal Kombat Deception.
This is a tough question. What's a deceptive box art? Because I don't even think Phalanx is a deceptive box art, right? Just because it has a different vibe from the game. I would consider deceptive to be like, this plays totally different from what this cover suggested.
I mean, at that point, that's just like any shovelware title.
Yeah. I mean, and Phalanx has the ship on it too. Like it's not like the old guy's the only thing on there. The ship is there as well.
I think maybe the rise of just putting like a guy on your box art and calling it a day maybe is reflective of the rising homogenization of design, as Rosary pointed out, because it used to be that like games would advertise the thing you do in the game on the cover. Like, for examples, in Knuckles Chaotix, it shows the characters being connected by the rings.
I mean, even in games like as late as like when that trend started happening, where like you got the BioShock man holding a shotgun staring away from you. I guess that was BioShock Infinite.
Yeah.
Like you had Dark Sector, and that guy just had the shuriken on the cover of the box, and then you can go, yeah, this is shuriken game.
Yeah.
I have an actual answer now. I thought about it.
Okay.
Remember when Resident Evil 8 came out and it had Chris on the cover and his face was like half a werewolf, and so everyone thought he was going to turn into a werewolf, and he didn't?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good example. I guess one that's not that big of a deal, but which has always bothered me a little bit, is Chrono Trigger, when Marle uses fire, and that's not her element.
That is true. She does not get any of those spells.
That's the kind of thing that I wouldn't let through if I was part of product design. Please redraw this or change her element in the game.
I mean, if we want to extend the question, like, what do you think the most deceptive marketing in a game would be?
Great question.
I mean, like most of the like PS1, PS2 era stuff where it was just like, you're gonna fuck with this game. You know, Rayman's got a huge wiener.
I remember very distinctly there was so many incredibly sexually charged ads where it was like, this game is like being in BDSM, and it was just like a guy in full fetish gear. And I think it was like for a dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like, there was one where it was like the second best thing you could do with your hands, and it's like a Game Boy Color or whatever. It's like, dog.
Yeah,
relax.
no, Nintendo was doing that as late as like 2005, where they would put like a sexy woman in their DS ad and say, "Oh, touching, you can touch her."
Yeah, touching is good.
And that changed very radically by 2006.
Well, because I think they could make reference to it and be a little sly, but then when they put out the console that had a friggin' phallic controller, they were like, we can't do this. People are just gonna make fun of us.
And then they sold you the condom.
They did. because people were flinging it into their television.
I love that the Wii condom is like, everybody knows what that means. That is useful language. What else would you call it? I don't even know what its official name is.
It's
the Wii remote jacket.
It has. Man, I'm the fucking Nintendo dweeb. I can't remember what it's called. Fuck.
Yeah, it's just the remote jacket.
I don't remember what it's called. I'm Googling it. It is just the jacket. Yeah, it is just called the jacket. Which that's fucked up. The jacket.
But then they had to do it again because they released the high precision one, so you had to get the Magnum condom.
I mean, I'm looking on Amazon. They actually still sell, like, from Nintendo, Wii Motion Pluses with the jacket for like $15. That's kind of crazy, actually. That's like, I remember those being real expensive, and now it's just like, yeah, $15. Fuck it.
Yeah, I guess the Wii flared out so fast at the end there that they might have overproduced the late accessories.
Yeah, that sounds right. But I mean, the Wii Motion Plus let you play Red Steel 2.
The Wii Motion Plus was good. It finally did the thing that they advertised the Wii would do.
Yeah. Hey,
there you go. Deceptive marketing.
Yes.
Well, yeah, there you go, yeah. I mean, you know, you're talking about Wii Sports Resort. That was like the Motion Plus game.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, because it's cool to have kinesthetic movement, right? It's cool to swing the Wii remote, even though it's literally equivalent to just pressing a button. But when they finally did real motion controls, it was so fun to move the sword, and the sword moves where you point it.
Yeah. No, I am not talking shit whatsoever. Like, I think that the Wii is cool. The Wii Motion Plus is cool. And it's a little funny that people kept throwing their controllers into the TV screen because they weren't wearing the fucking wrist strap. I was making sure everyone was putting on that fucking wrist strap. Because, you know, my parents were real into Wii Sports when that came out. Like, that was definitely like I want this because I want to play Brawl on it. But then my parents got into Wii Sports. And I mean, I was into Wii Sports as well, don't get me wrong, but like I just remember being like, listen, y'all have to put the fucking strap on.
Yeah, put the strap.
I don't want to hear anything about the TV being broken. You will break the TV. I will break the TV if I don't put this on. And we never broke our TV because I made sure that they didn't fuck that up. So there you go.
Have you ever felt... sorry, go on, Lily.
I also just never got that animated using the console. It's not like there's an impartation of force.
You're totally right, but I think like pretending that there is makes it more fun.
Yeah, it is more fun.
I guess I just don't have fun.
No, I was going to ask you, John, did that strap ever save your life?
I'm trying to think. I mean, maybe. I feel like I might have accidentally let go of the controller here and there. One thing is I never got the jacket. I definitely got a Wii Motion Plus eventually. I never got the jacket because at that point I wasn't really playing those games. Like I was playing so many games as just a controller at that point that it wasn't really that much of a thing for me. But I definitely did like lose grip on that here and there. But then I also got like rechargeable batteries for the Wii controller, and I always remember that like the rechargeable it came with like a replaceable back for it, and luckily that replaceable thing, because it had like the little hole that you could slot in so it would charge the battery, and then it also had like a grip on the back too, which is really nice. So I never got the jacket because we would wear the strap, and then we had the grip on the back to make it easier to hold on to. So it became not really an issue, I guess.
It was probably so easy to make a gaming webcomic in 2006 and talk about strapping on your Wii.
There were many. We don't even have to like the punchline of having the sexual console that you had to prep to play was seen by many, and that low-hanging fruit was plucked aplenty.
Oh, but when it was fresh, I bet it tasted so sweet.
They're still making Penny Arcade comics.
For every Penny Arcade that continues to this day, there were many immensely ugly comics.
Yes.
I don't want to be mean, but Penny Arcade looks fucked up now.
Yeah, it's been fucked up for like a decade.
Like I don't know, I don't have like reverence for Penny Arcade, but these character designs are kind of insane. Like Tycho looks like he's got like a growth on his chin. I think it's supposed to be like a cleft or something, but it's the way that it's drawn, it just looks like he has it looks like a big splinter coming out of the bottom of his lip. I don't know what's going on with that. And Gabe's hair is insane. What the fuck is going on with this? I don't know. I gotta stop looking at this.
I don't know. I used to know people who like read VG Cats.
I was one of those people when I was younger. I remember liking VG Cats when I was younger. But if I remember correctly now, the author just like draws porno of the girl cat now, and that's just like his full-time job.
What a strange and wandering path some people can take through life.
That's crazy. His fucking... I'm seeing... Okay, so there is just a VG Cats Patreon. And the last update was November last year, and it was the fucking Pokemon webcomic that he started to do.
Oh.
He's still doing that. That's crazy.
They never die.
That's crazy. You could buy volume 1 of VG Cats in paperback off of Shark Robot for $15.
Yeah, enough product placement.
I wish they were paying our ass. Are you kidding me? Ay.
I think the only one of these that like evolved into something else was Neo Tokyo, because didn't that eventually just become like a shoujo manga?
Yes.
It was a shoujo manga that had such a unremovable, like, Orientalism to it that it basically was just describing things that did not exist.
Yeah.
Because I remember distinctly the start of that comic, which was that they got trapped in Japan by beating a ninja to get across immigrations.
Yes.
What a scary world.
Yes, what a scary world.
I'm looking at Control-Alt-Delete right now. and I'm going to be honest, the art is kind of good now. Like,
do you want to know what's funny? Is like I don't have any memories of contemporary like to reading it at the time they were coming out, and I need you to understand. I need you to understand that I was forced to read these by someone who used to enjoy them and insisted they were still good. So this was inflicted on me more modern than they ever existed.
I only got introduced to Control-Alt-Delete by, like, Loss and some other stuff like that. Like, it was purely just like, oh, this is really stupid, look at this. Like, I definitely remember being aware of and, like, reading a little bit of Penny Arcade and stuff like MVG Cats when I was younger, but yeah, I never interacted with Control-Alt-Delete for whatever reason. I don't know why. And webcomics, y'all. I don't know. That went real off the rails. Holy. But it was
so
fun.
You could say that this
okay.
whole discussion was deceptive.
Yes, I can. But thank you all for listening, everybody. Yeah, Nikolas had to bounce due to some technical issues, but he was here. And you can find his stuff on a Blue Sky on Sir Psy Cactus, which is SIRPSY. CACTUS. If you so choose. He's making like a game and shit. I don't know how long that's gonna take because he's like doing everything by himself, but you know, that'll probably take a long time. But he's doing it. But if you want to support us as a website, you can go to gamesline.net, which is the website where we post all this stuff, all of our thoughts, our opinions, our articles, our podcasts, our videos. It's all on the website, gamesline.net. And if you want to follow us on Blue Sky, you can go to Blue Sky and follow us also on gamesline.net. That's also the website on Blue Sky. And you can follow us on YouTube. Our YouTube is youtube.com/@thegamesline. We have our Twitch account, twitch.tv/gameslinetv. And you can come hang out with us on Discord, thegamezone.zone. Type that into your web browser, it'll bring you straight there. And if you want to support us, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/gamesline. Thank you to meltchannel/Magic Circuit for our theme song Crush off of the album Magic is Real. If you want to listen to their stuff, it's meltchannel.bandcamp.com or magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. And I will always recommend that you purchase music off of Bandcamp on the first Friday of every month, because that is Bandcamp Friday, and that gives the artists more of a cut. Crystal, where can people find you?
Crystal.undertow.cards on Blue Sky. Listen to Drawn from the Undertow, my actual play podcast, at undertow.cards.
Lily, where can people find you?
I can be found at gallows.bsky.social.
You can find me at john.gamesline.net on Blue Sky. And that should do it. Thank you all for listening. We will be back with another episode of the Gamesline podcast. Bye-bye. So long.
Rivermaster Ultimate.
Oh.